Okay, so we go on forward, we move forward onto our next speaker here on stage. And this time we're actually going to jump into how hyper-convergence is changing the face of IT. Now, the gentleman who's going to be sharing with you his insights on this is actually responsible for shaping key technology and portfolio strategies in collaboration with the HPE enterprise businesses. A man who's got more than 2 decades of experience in the industry and has held a whole host of executive management positions as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Vice President of Strategy at Hewlett Packard Enterprise CTO Office and HPE Labs, Mr. Mark Linesch.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to our session. We're going to talk a little bit about hyper-convergence today. My name is Mark Linesch, and as said, I work strategy across Hewlett Packard Enterprise, primarily in the advanced development area, what we would call Wave 2, Wave 3 types of technologies. One of those is, of course, the notion of hybrid IT and hyper-convergence. And I'm going to talk for a few minutes about hybrid IT and how it's really changing the way we think about standing up IT systems, whether that be in a private or in a public environment. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the things that I think is a cornerstone of today's digital business is the fact that applications continue to explode. We've seen the mobile revolution. We're in the process of seeing the IoT revolution. And so application growth is shifting from systems of transaction, systems of engagement, to really systems of action, where I'm using data, I'm using sensing to get insights and to take action. And this requires us to rethink the way that we deliver IT services to an increasingly digital business. Digital business spending is continuing to grow. Worldwide spending on public cloud has a growth rate of approximately 19 to 20%. But private cloud is continuing to grow aggressively too. And so it's really a hybrid IT environment. Some of my applications I want to keep in-house for compliance or for performance reasons, for cost reasons. Some need high scale, they need increased agility, and so I want to take advantage of the capabilities of one of the great hybrid IT vendors out there. That explosion of applications is challenging. It's challenging from a variety of different directions. Now, the IT industry has been very aggressive in moving toward virtualization, containerization types of technologies so that they can abstract the software from the hardware and move faster, right? And be more administratively lean. But still today, we have the issue that we've basically traded one type of physical silo for a virtual silo. We've got VMs that are now in silos and are still too costly to administer. IT still has problems responding quickly to the business and to the user demands, particularly from lines of business as they compete in the worldwide global economy. And it's still too complex to administer these systems. We're really looking for not lean operations, but no operations. We're looking for really dramatic productivity increases in the way we administer our virtual machines, the way we administer our IT systems. These VMware silos, or these VM silos, whether it's VMware or Hyper-V or KVM, they create inefficiencies across a data center. I've got to manage in particular silos, for instance. I may have clusters in finance. I may have clusters in my application development. I may have clusters in marketing. And fundamentally, today's hyperconvergence systems are just beginning to address things like separate workspaces, isolation, and tenancy as a part of their virtual machine vending capabilities and their private cloud capabilities. So we need to trade these silos for a much more holistic view across our private cloud, but also start to get the visibility between the private and the public for all of our application service delivery. That really then requires our customers to really think about the mix of private, public, managed within their application portfolios. And that requires then this notion of hybrid IT. But hybrid IT is also extending to the Internet of Things as we do computation at the edge. And we have to manage both applications at the edge that have a more real-time orientation, real-time action toward them, and the data that needs to flow back into the data center. So helping customers to define the right mix between private, public, and managed, between edge and core applications, to be able to power that mix with the right software-defined infrastructure and the right operational tools, and then to be able to optimize that mix from an administration point of view, so we get higher ratios of administration to virtual machines or containers, and so that we operationally lean out, okay, our capabilities and thus increase the speed and the agility of what we're doing. Clearly, we're on a journey that's not just a journey of IT infrastructure or IT cloud or public or private or edge or core. It's a journey to a new set of experiences as we pervasively move toward digitizing our analog world. We've moved from siloed traditional infrastructure, and there's still quite a bit of that out there in the industry. We've got to modernize that infrastructure. We've got to lean out that administrative tasks. We've moved to shared with convergence of power and compute, storage, and fabric. We've moved to simplify with concepts like hyper-convergence, where the compute, the storage, the fabric is all integrated together into a seamless hardware and software stack that IT generalists can set up, configure, and administer. Toward what we call composable, where we're thinking about resources as fluid pools of compute, of storage, and network that I can configure automatically to meet the application requirements of a variety of different traditional applications and these new microservice-oriented cloud-native applications. And hyperconvergence is really changing the face of IT and enabling IT providers to become service providers. And IT has been on a journey to become service providers to the business, and that requirement is increasing as we accelerate into this next wave of digital insights. Now, what does it mean to change the face of IT? It's not a big bang, it's a journey, but it really focuses on a couple of key orientations. First is IT has to deploy at cloud speed. They're competing with public cloud. They're competing on the agility, the quickness, the OpEx versus CapEx financial models of public cloud. And so being able to quickly deploy a virtual machine within a workspace environment for a particular department or a particular branch office is critical. Need to be able to consume with cloud flexibility, So being able to say, well, look, I want to consume this IT as CapEx, or I want to consume this IT as OpEx, is a very critical opportunity. And then the efficiency aspect, being able to utilize the skills and the capabilities of your IT organization without having separate silos of server and storage and networking that have to always come together for configuration, provisioning, and operational support. And hyperconvergence is that architecture, that young architecture, that allows us to bring this together in a very performant way for private cloud, but increasingly for a hybrid cloud environment. Let's talk about each one of these. Deploy at cloud speed. You know, there's a lot of different actors within a data center. There's developers, there are administrators, there are people that worry about, do we have enough IT resources to support our critical applications, our new applications? We need to empower our resource managers to become internal service providers, to efficiently manage the compute, the storage, the fabric resources in an on-demand, more flexible, compositional way. Oh, hey, we've got a marketing campaign. We need to be able to develop a next-generation web app quickly. We need to be able to stand up and deliver a set of resources for our developers to do that in a cloud-like, efficient manner. Users and developers are also part of the actors within a data center. We need to empower those developers for agile development and delivery. One of the things I know about developers is that they're not interested in infrastructure. They could care less about infrastructure. I managed our R&D data centers for Hewlett Packard Enterprise, and what they care about is speed. They care about access to resources, to their favorite tools. They care about build times because they are challenged to innovate faster and faster. They don't care about infrastructure. What they want is that self-service portal to be able to vend to them the virtual machines in the size and the shape that they need to quickly develop their applications, test their applications, build, digitally sign, and deliver those applications to the business. Consumption is also a very, very big part of this. Today's hyperconverged systems are still somewhat static. I can't really carve up these systems very easily into multi-tenant environments. So thinking about workspace types of isolation where I can have clusters over here be separate from clusters over there, but I can see holistically across those clusters. I can manage across those clusters. I can update not only the software, but the hardware in a very automated fashion. Very, very important for IT agility. We want to increase our utilization. We want to have visibility to our utilization. How much resource is finance using at the end of the month? Do they need additional resources? Can I quickly move resources toward that finance team for end of month close? These are the problems, the issues that are starting to become problems that we can solve through the combination of convergence, integrating the compute, the storage, the network as a system, through virtualization, abstracting the hardware and the software, and through these flexible hyperconvergence types of concepts, including the concept of separation, isolation, and workspaces. And then finally, we have the operations, right? One of the things that's happening in the world is we're threading data analytics and machine learning through all of our applications, all of our tooling. And so data analytics for smarter planning, for capacity optimization, for predictive analytics to show where resources are. How much do those resources cost? How do I move a resource from here to there to rebalance or to optimize? To proactively alert me when I have a problem or anticipate that I'm going to have a problem and quickly remediate that problem is critical. Being able to do simple lifecycle management operations around system-wide updates. Gee, I've got to update the firmware and the drivers in a cluster. How do I do that in a very simple, straightforward way, meeting either my maintenance windows or not taking the system down at all? Because service disruptions shouldn't happen if I'm in a virtualized world, if I'm in a containerized world, and I'm looking to build those automated patterns and templates so that I can reduce errors and really provide a complete offline test of that update before I ever enter into updating these production systems. So our approach with hyper-convergence is fairly simple. We're taking the best of Hewlett Packard enterprise and our organic development on hyper-converged systems with a recent acquisition that we've made called CeBIT, and we're bringing those together into a combination that we think is going to be very powerful, not just for mid-market customers, not just for remote office or VDI, but to extend hyper-convergence architectures into the enterprise. On the Hewlett-Packard side, our organic development has been about the user experience. How do we design a complete system that an IT generalist would love, that's simple to bring up in 15 minutes, that's simple to lifecycle manage, that has self-serving virtual machine vending for developers and for users, that you can deploy quickly at cloud speed. CRN gave us the #1 accolade for usability of hyper-converged systems recently. CeBIT really pioneered this very critical notion of data services. Data services that are 90% efficient, guaranteed. Automated storage utilization, efficiency, protection and resiliency across both your computation, your backup, and your disaster recovery in a very integrated environment. A lot of hyper-converged systems are piece parts, right? You have separate hardware, separate software, separate data protection, separate DR. With the CeBIT platform, you really have the ability to have an integrated data services platform that is highly efficient and is designed from the ground up to be virtual machine-centric in its administration and management. And the combination of that data services level, which is enterprise-ready, and that user experience, we think, is going to be a very powerful combination for our customers worldwide. What does that really deliver? Well, that delivers a whole lot of simplicity in an enterprise scale. If you look on the slide here, you see servers, you see storage, you see switching devices, you see fabric, you see backup and deduplication, you see the notion of wide area network support for remote offices, you see the cloud and the flash and the hard drives and all of the things that make these systems performant. But there's a lot of complexity with these systems. And as we move forward in this digital world, what we're doing is we're taking and converging that complexity, simplifying that complexity without losing the enterprise data services, the enterprise resiliency, and the like. And we're announcing today the integration of OmniStack, which is CeBIT's data services platform, on top of our best-selling DL380, which is the best-selling scale-out server on the planet. We're very excited about this, not just because of the capabilities that we can bring and the simplicity that we can bring, but we can also provide then our customers with worldwide scale, and more importantly, support for both the hardware, the virtualization, and the complete software stack from one vendor. And there's very few vendors in the marketplace who can do that. And so this is an opportunity for us to really move the ball forward with regard to these next generation IT systems. Our path toward hybrid IT has been a path that we've been on a journey for quite a few years. We've looked to optimize and continue to modernize traditional infrastructure. We've converged our compute, our storage, our networking into blade platforms with integrated software to lower the administrative burdens. We've designed hyper-convergence systems with the design point of it being simple and yet powerful. And our latest Synergy platform was designed from the ground up with the notion of composability in mind. Fundamentally, I think that journey has brought us products like OneView, which allows us to describe in a templatized form how we configure the compute, the storage, and network, test all that offline, and then automatically configure and provision infrastructure in a very fast, fluid way. It's brought us new private cloud capabilities, like our HPE cloud system that allows you to stand up a private cloud, burst into a public cloud, and allows for this choice in terms of hybrid IT delivery. And it's brought us our next generation composable system called Synergy, which has the three concepts that are really all about composability. The notion that resources can be pooled. I can have so much compute, memory, and storage and assemble that to fit the needs of a particular application. That I have software intelligence that allows me to describe how to configure and provision infrastructure, how to manage its life cycle. I can templatize that, I can test it offline, and then I can automate those processes. And open application programming interfaces so that I can integrate that infrastructure management to higher level configuration management tools like Chef or Puppet or Ansible, to cloud platforms like Azure, OpenStack, or to a variety of other tooling within your existing data center environment. We're on a journey. We're on a journey to simplify HP and simplify our hybrid IT systems. Our strategy is really pretty simple also. How do we provide our customers the right mix of compute, storage, and networking, the right mix of public, private, edge to core to power their innovation? How do we extend that capability to the edge of the network? We're going to see more and more computation, more data analytics, more real-time action as we integrate the analog world, the cars, the trains, the healthcare systems, the personal devices. And then how do we help our customers in the middle to accelerate their digital outcomes and to drive increasing value from IT systems? We are very, very proud and very, very excited about our next steps in this journey around our hyper-convergence capabilities. And I want to thank you guys for listening and attending this particular event. And if you have any questions, we probably have a few minutes for questions. Thank you.